Hello everyone, my name is FlareBlitzed here and welcome back to Fairy in a Jar. Now in this episode we're going to be discovering endings D, B and A. If you want to find out what happened in ending C, then I recommend checking out part 2 of my Let's Play of this game. But I've been going through this game in between the second and this part and just seeing different events, and there are two main differences. Number one, what you decide at the beginning, either to scream or to bite. And number two, whether or not you choose to find another way or to obviously stab the human. So you got good news for me. What is that good news, dear wizard? Yes, you can leave this jar in no time. Really? Sure, I remembered. That old guy on the other side told me before. To humans, fairy blood can cause paralysis of their limbs. As long as you inject your blood into his body when he opens the jar, you can easily defeat him. When he opens the jar, does he mean when he brings me food? But should I really do this? What's the matter? You keep saying that you need to escape, don't you? Will Mr. Giant be fine if I attack him? Huh? Of course he'll be fine. You'll be free the moment you use your blood on him. Always about the blood, isn't it? Why are you hesitating? Humans are arrogant creatures, and to them you are nothing but a pet. He bought you at a high price. It's impossible for him to set you free. You will do it, unfortunately. I see. Good child. Feeding time has passed today. I'd better have a good sleep before preparing for tomorrow. We don't get the choice of talking to Mr. Knight then. Oh dearie me. So this kind of locked us into one route now. See how things play out. Please don't worry, my dear guest. If our pet cannot provide you an enjoyable experience, then of course we can deal with the problem. So this is the giants talking. Always kind of trying to figure out who's talking in the background there, and I believe it is to do with the humans in this game, the giants. Those people are talking, and it's in their perspective in which the white background with the dark text is. It's about time to prepare. Firstly, a weapon to attack him. I cannot see anything from here. No, I shouldn't sleep now. An ordinary stamp? Ah! I think it's going to break. Hey yo, hey yo. You got yourself a sharp bit of wood. Though it's a bit heavy, I think it'll work. Then fairy blood. How many days have we been here? That's not necessary. Food that was thrown down into the jar. So that's like wheat and fruit of sorts. The container seems to be made from steel. It has sharp edges. Anyway, I'll have to... Oh dear. I'm not saying those two words. In order to get some fairy blood. It's scary to actually do this. It'll work. Wait for the giant. It's time to say goodbye to this jar. Here he comes. Huh? What's going on? Is the fairy not coming out today? Wait a bit more. When he reaches his hand closer. Now. Attack or hesitate? We'll just go with attack. Ouch. Ah! I stun him. The blood is going into his skin. Ah! No! Oh. He was obviously holding onto the jar at the time. And the jar smashed. Yeah. The jar definitely smashed. And the fairy looks very life-ened. Or his life is at risk here. His life is going to end. I didn't expect this. Yeah, multiple stab wounds there. He fell and dropped the jar. Mr. Giant. He's not moving anymore. Not if he caused paralysis to his limbs. This is what I deserve. Why did I believe that I could escape if only the lid was open? I say, can't fairies fly? And so confident about it, as if I could just fly outside the jar. Yeah, fly. Why did I believe I could fly? Now you must be wondering about that, right? This voice. It's not me. Yes, it's me, someone that you've forgotten. However, you do surprise me every time. I should have stopped you because you were killing 2 of my customers. But I couldn't. I would break another contract if I did, right? My little fairy? Yes. Now I remember. So I don't think this is the first time this fairy's had contact with a giant. Because his voice is reminiscent about the past, but it couldn't be another fairy because it's talking about customers. And when did you see fairies do trades and sales? In fairy tales, that is. Actually, the original wish you remembered. Ending D looks like a sad face, actually. A very open sad face. The original wish. Would you like to see a hint? Yes, why are you going so slowly? Your face is showing me that you won't accept the outcome. Though it's not a bad thing to trust others, you may find yourself in serious troubles if you act too boldly. Now, think again. Do you really want to leave that badly? We do. Our life is at stake. I do like the main menu. It's reminiscent of that ending we just achieved. Because obviously, from this menu, the fairy is now blood-soaked. So for the other two endings, what we need to do is restart the game from the beginning. Because the first choice that we need to make is before we can actually save the game. Before we can actually play the game for ourselves. Sure, yes, it's small, the size is about 4 centimeters. This is about the fairy itself. For food, an ear of weed with a few drops of morning dew is all you need to prepare the day. Don't worry, the little thing is completely capable of taking care of itself. These are the giants talking about this little guy, this little fairy here. Wake. Wake up. Hello, can you hear me? It's time to wake up. But then how can the giant communicate with a fairy like this through telepathy? This voice. Because even though this feels like a dream, at the same time, it's not a dream because both the fairy and the giant can then look at one another and remember the events that transpired. Where's this place? Knock on the glass. A transparent wall? If you knock at it hard enough, it could break. Why am I here? But again, it depends how thick the glass is. And that's T-H-I-C-K. Thick. Is there a way out? Huh? A little thing in a bottle. What is it, a walking lizard? I am no lizard, thank you very much. I am a humanoid-like creature with elf ears. What's going on? The voices are from above. Instructions on how to play the game. Cool. We understand. Oh yeah, save is with X and escape, and skip text is with control. Only do that if you want to get to a particular ending and you're kind of stuck on a limbo as to what to do. Sound of an opening door. This is where things get interesting. Giant! You are awake? When are you going to shake the jar? The jar is open. Could have flown to escape. But you don't have wings, do you now? Come on, eat! Food. And then... You're so full up. Thank you. No. You can't hear you, little one. Okay, so not bite him. Scream for help. Don't want to think that you're a little bit of a Nara, little fairy. Gnawing at him. The giant's going to eat me! Someone help me! Show your hesitancy, but don't be aggressive. It's not right. What's not right? The giant is hesitant, as the knight would proclaim him to be. Hesitant and confusion. He's gone. Indeed he... Yes, it will be delivered to your place next Friday. This bit though, if you have no more questions, please sign here. So would this be in the past about the giant? Because it's talking about something that needs to be ordered. It could be food related though, regarding the fairy. Value. Is he close to the giant though? That is the question. Yes, we do actually. Show your interests rather than leaving it obscure. Yes, a little bit, because I want to know why I'm here. Go and knock on that transparent wall. Have a try, my child. Sometimes it's very good to know your antagonists in a way. Those who are confining you here. So in this case, it's good for the fairy to know about the giant. Yes. And obviously they will come. Just like that. You want to meet him again? I see. Sure, I can help you. However, will you be satisfied just watching him from afar? Again, this is about the giants talking about the fairy. Do you want to see him from afar? So I think this is holding a conversation about how the giant is able to talk to the fairy. But how is that even possible when that kind of biology exists in the first place? But then again, this is fantasy and anything's possible. But how is the giant able to communicate with the fairy in dreams? Like, that's the only time that they can actually communicate with one another. Because obviously the fairy's voice is too small. Because of the size of the fairy in comparison to the size of the giant. Knock knock. And here comes the giant again. Stand firm this time. You are not hiding today. No, we're not. I guess you can understand my words, but you can't understand ours. But it seems like I can't hear what you're saying. This is indeed today's food. More wheat for you, young child. Rather than concerning yourself, concern about the giant's well-being. Be interested. Pique a curiosity to the giant, so that the giant may feel a bit more comfortable around you, dear fairy. Ask where you are. But how can I make him understand? You've got something to say. You want to know where we are? We do indeed. We can communicate like this. This is a universe. Okay, this part is not important, or at the same time it really is. Though professors want research, nobody will come here except me. Are you sure now? Are you really sure that you're the only one that comes here? Said nobody would come here. We don't remember. Doesn't know. Is that so? Just nods and goes away. The giant's trying to find answers from the fairy. But the fairy obviously isn't able to raise her voice loud enough for the giant to hear. So, nods and any sort of physical movement is probably more important towards communicating to the giant in real life. Suddenly leaves. Indeed he does. Why should you care about that? Because you want to get more fond of the giant for your own safety. What is the blank to you? What is the fairy to you? What is the boy to you? I'm looking forward to your final answer. So what does the fairy hold in terms of value to a giant? And this looks like it looks like a plant, but the plant itself is withering because of all the dark colours on it. Another conversation with a giant. Do you think so? You've been here for a while, haven't you? Do you want to know why I brought you? We do. I was brought? It's a long story. I was a small... interesting tales about the child. But through that story, did you manage to find out about that fairy? Still, asking questions regarding the giant. Piquing its curiosity rather than piquing its curiosity to me directly. That's why you imprisoned me here. No, did you try and find that fairy? You want to know why I didn't go back to the forest? It was until much later that I finally realised it had actually been a fairy. It was such a long time ago after something I couldn't go back there, only depending on my childhood memory. And even if I want to meet again, they may not feel the same, though I've tried. It only brought me greater disappointment. Regarding the first fairy we met, because I believe this little fairy that we play as is not the first fairy that the giant communicated with. No way! Thank you. Poor Mr. Giant. He has missed the fairy all this time. Is there anything I can do for him? You've been very selfless, concerning Mr. Giant rather than yourself, fairy. That's it, the fairy's singing. I can cheer him up with my song. Huh? Weird. I can't. My voice was natural and perfect in the dream. Mr. Giant. What are you trying to say? Is that so? Well, I should go back to work now. We're on the right track. There's another important decision to make, and that's regarding whether to stab the giant or not. And obviously, in the last two endings of this game, B and A, we do not want to stab him, because that automatically reverts us back to ending D. Refuse to go along with this. What? Still hesitating? He is merely a human, though he may be big. I'm sorry, Mr. Wizard, but I think there must be another way to escape. Indeed there is. Do you think so? Thank you for chatting with me today. Sure, see you tomorrow, little fairy. You still think that, don't you? It's time to go back. Indeed it is time to go back. Let's check on what we need to do here. A stamp with a giant printed on it. Number of days here, 26. Coming up. Food here. The food Mr. Giant gave me. There's even some sweet fruit. Fruit is always good. A bottle cap. There's delicious water inside. Indeed there is. It's always so dark in there. And go to bed. Yes, we do want to go to bed. Ooh. There's somebody about. Ah! Someone in the room? Mr. Giant? No, it's not him. The footsteps sound different. Who is it? It's better to stay put inside the shipwreck. I guess it won't be a problem if I just take a peek. Oh! I selected the wrong option. Oh, I can't see their face. Ah, the cap is open. Wait a second. He lifted the jar. I selected the wrong option. Stop, I'm going to fall. Ah, Mr. Giant. Ooh, in a different area. It hurts. My head hurts so badly. Did I pass out? Oh, such a great place to fall into. It's so dark here. I suppose I'm at the bottom of the jar. I can't see anything, nor can I ask Mr. Giant for help. Anyway, I should have a look around. Old fences. Crackling. It cracked! breaking the moment when I touched it. Ouch. Here we have... There are quite a few plants growing in the crack, which means there used to be sunshine here. And I can see nothing but darkness. It's too dangerous to keep going. And we have ourselves something else here. I found it. It seems I can push away the wood plank here. Push. I'll try. What? There's a snake there? What are you doing up there, Mr. Snake? Ah! Snake! Hi there. Hope you're doing well. No. Is it a fake one? Phew, that was scary. I thought it was a real snake at the first glance. Such a noisy little guy. It talks. Huh? Is there a chance that you can hear me? We can hear you. Yes, I often talk with Mr. Knight and the other misters. Mr. Knight? Do you mean that Iron Knight holding a sword? Yes. The old guy that always shows off his knowledge with clever words. Clever words? Yep. Though he's actually a few decades younger than me. Well, does Mr. Snake also know Mr. Knight? Yeah, it was a long time ago. I never had the chance to go up after I was dropped here by a human accidentally. Like me now. You've been here all that time? Since you were dropped? That's true. Well, here it is, the only internal darkness that was forgotten by all humans. As well as my final tomb. Tomb? Oh, little one. Come here. Let me see your face. I guess there won't be any danger. Don't worry, the snake won't eat you. Probably. Wow. The statue looks even more lively before my eyes. Thank you, little guy. I haven't had anyone to talk to for a long time. By the way, you weren't as surprised as Mr. Knight and the others were, Mr. Snake. You must be an extraordinary creature since you can talk to statues. Then why should I be surprised? I see. That makes sense. Where are you from, my child? I'm not sure. It seems that I was brought by Mr. Giant. Oh, really? Then we are the same. Anyway, my little friend, now you are such a mess. Your clothes are dirty and torn, and even your pretty face is scratched. You are a little damaged. I didn't feel the pain until he mentioned it. Though I'm not in any place to judge you. My beautiful painted scales were covered by dust, my slim body broken into pieces by the crushing something. And these bloody spiders, stop crawling on me! I believe the old iron block wouldn't recognize me even if I appeared before him again. No way! Mr. Knight treasures friendship very much. He even clearly remembers the stories 50 years ago. Friendship. Humans gave us the hearts to treasure these feelings, yet they abandon us without another wonder. All creators are like this. They won't adore their works anymore after they are finished. And they'll just pour all their love into the next ones. That's an unfortunate reality. My apologies, I got sentimental since I had no one to talk to for so long. It's kind of like games actually. Once developers know that their game is fully finished and fully bugged free, then they move on to the next game. And then after that, then the next game. And then the old memories just simply get forgotten about. Well, not forgotten about, but they just get abandoned. Anyway, that took a dark turn. And don't call me mister. Just call me sis. Sis? But the voice sounds like a middle-aged man. Yes, yes, your big sis. It has been quite some time since such a cute voice spoke to me. Huh? Quite some time? Well, was there another statue talking to you, sis? Oops, now that you mentioned it, I don't think the owner of that beautiful voice was a statue. Not a statue? Then who was it then? Even as you ask, I can't remember it all of a sudden. After all, my brain has become dull due to my long stay in the darkness. Just bring it to me if you found any clue. I may remember when I actually see a related item. A clue? I've lived in a jar for a long time now. Is there anything worth further investigation? Tap. That knocking sound. It's Mr. Giant. It seems that he is looking for you after noticing you've gone. But I don't think Mr. Giant can hear me. Then you should go out and find him. Do you know the way out, sis? Sure. Though it's a small exit, it won't be a difficult path for you. Listen, climb up my tail and keep going. Then you'll find a hole. You can go out of the wreck from there. Thank you. I see. You mean this way? I could go out of here, right? Goodbye, sis. And thank you very much for your help. Bye-bye, little cutie. Don't fall down again. Sure. See you. It's a very intriguing little story behind this game. I really climbed out. How did you get in there? Mr. Giant. Oh. I tripped again. Let me check it for you. Open the jar. The lid. Over time, our original objective was to just focus on escaping. We don't want to have anything to do with the giant. Now, we want to learn about the giant and then kind of leave peacefully with satisfaction for the giant himself. It hurts just a little more. How are you able to perform an operation such a tiny, delicate little being? What a harsh smell, and my back feels chilly. Now it's clean. I'm going to get some medicine for you. Be a good fairy and stay here, or it will be a much more serious injury than falling from the desk. I see. Oh, actually outside of a jar. He's so slow. Why is he still not coming back? What's with her not coming back? You fool! Mr. Wizard? What are you doing sitting here? Taking a holiday? Before you lies the outside world that you are trying so hard to reach. It's your freedom. Well... What? Is there something wrong? Though I really want to go home, Though? Where does the though come from? Little one, you're not falling in love with the human and putting off leaving, are you? What? No, I'm not. Actually, Lord, See? See? I knew it! Knew it'd be like this in the end. Love. All because of the damn love once more. My creator was falsely accused of being a cult wizard because he fell in love with the priest's daughter. Okay. And he was executed because of that. I said it wasn't because of Mr. Giant. My child, who did you meet? At least Mr. Knight is open and asks the question rather than falling into conclusions. Please listen to me. Actually, I just found a snake at the bottom of the shipwreck. So he has been here. The infinite snake that was forgotten at the bottom by humans. What a miserable life. Actually, I'm curious about the last words of Mr. Snake. About the other voice. Couldn't it just be phantomism? I suppose he has senile dementia now because he's been in the jar for too long. Or maybe he mistook it as another human's voice in his memory. Is that so? Is Mr. Giant still not back yet? Mr. Wizard looks so big when I'm near. Hey, are you saying that I look small? No, I didn't. Viking Lord and his bushy beard. My lord. Oops. Is he getting angry with me? Don't worry. It happens with older people. Sometimes he suddenly falls asleep while standing there. Well, he literally can't do anything else. He's a statue. I'm trying to think of a joke combining the word statue and standing. But maybe that joke would have been a bit still. I don't know statues need to sleep as well. Well, usually we don't. Maybe it's a sign for something. And this bit of paper. A piece of strange cloth with some weird patterns printed on it. You're not completely wrong. No, no, no. They're called words. And the thing you are standing on is paper, which can record things. Record? So is Mr. Giant a respectful elder? Do you mean a priest who records history for a tribe? Though this occupation exists in the human world, it's not what it's not what your young owner does. What does he record then? How would I know? I'm just a statue being moved around in the office. I'm not... I'm not something stead in a young boy in his 20s. I see. Stop staring at me. Fine, fine. I'll read it for you, alright? Yay! Sound waves. Harmonious. Huh? Human bodies? What a mess. It's not just biology or psychology or mechatronics. That's why I consider humans stupid. Not wrong. Never have the quality of focusing. Again, not wrong there. Jibber jabber. And here comes Mr. Giant again. Hi there, Mr. Giant. So you waited for me? Mr. Giant. I thought the Viking was asleep. We're back in here. I didn't get the chance to speak to the others in the end because Mr. Giant kept staring at me cautiously. I didn't sleep well at all last night. I'm so sleepy now. Let's check everything then. I remember being more far in the future when it came to this. Like rather than being on day 25, I think it was day 48. So now we've crossed out 27. So it means that tomorrow will be day 28. Golden wheat and some purple fruit. It's filled with delicious spring water. He has been there alone all this time. Who on earth is this person? Something to do with a snake, probably. Because he did mention of a voice, but it wasn't a statue. Going to bed, yes. Yeah, it wasn't a statue, but it was something else. That something else could be a portrait that was moved from where the snake is to now. You want to meet him again? I see. Sure, I can help you. However, will you be satisfied just watching him from afar? We've seen this cutscene already. Ooh, we're in the plant again. But this time around, has a bit more vitality to it. It's true that we can't find him anywhere, and the guard said that nobody went out. Ah, this is talking about wheat or apple. I can't remember which one was missing. I even checked the warehouse just in case. Apple. What on earth is going on? Oh, so it's apple that we're missing. It's spirited away, isn't it? He must be spirited away. How can it be? The last incident was decades ago. We've been very diligent and cautious following the Elder's words. And why does it just happen on the day of our festival? Does it mean that some of us broke the rules? Spirited away? Nonsense. It's only excuse to fool children. Wheat? All of you know it already, don't you? There are no gods. The so-called rules are just taboo, forbidding us from exploring the giant's world. Therefore, the truth is that Apple was found and then captured by a giant. The culprit must be the giant who appeared by the lake. No! How do you know it's not? Do you also think that we can't defeat a giant? Do you also think it's better to give up because it's impossible to have him back if captured by a giant? No, that's not what I mean. Then why are you against me? You want to rescue Apple, don't you? Of course I do. I agree this whole spirited away thing is curious, but the culprit cannot be the giant. It's impossible. Why not? Why do you believe so? Of course, it's because... Because of what? Very intriguing. Very intriguing indeed. Because... Another dream? And... Ooh. Yes, another day. Let's see what days there are now. Is Mr. Giant coming today as well? Here's the bed again. What was I going to say? What I was going to say was... Don't remember. Mr. Snake. And the chalkboard. Coming up to day 27. The leftover food is gone. I guess Mr. Giant quietly took it away. Don't want to disturb you. Clean spring water. Drink some? You can. Going out? Absolutely. Okay, we're going to talk to Mr. Knight. Mr. Knight, I had a weird dream yesterday. A dream? Was it about your fairy village again? Yes, I dreamed that my friend went missing. And everybody in our village was very nervous, saying that he was spirited away. And then another friend of mine stood up and said that the culprit was a human, right? Ah, how did you know, Mr. Wizard? I knew it. It's just these two guys wouldn't let me say it. Hey, kiddo, what did you say? The iron block said that you were under a lot of pressure and we should not make you overthink. I mean, we shouldn't draw any conclusions without any evidence. Do you remember how you came here? No, not at all. The owner of this room often has us moved around for the sake of so-called academic meetings. Therefore, we're not always in the same spot. I was able to see the scenery outside the window a few days before your arrival. I saw him. The man brought the blank to this house. The block to his house. Was he the... It was a tall man in a black suit. In a black suit? Yeah. He covered his face, so I couldn't see it clearly. But the man somehow had a disgusting smell. Smell? What kind of smell? How can I know? I don't have an actual nose. The smell was just a concept. Concept. If I had to describe it, it was the smell of a rotten lizard mixed with spoiled apples and tobacco. Nothing's painted in my head. A tall giant in black with a weird smell. Could be a snake? Do you still remember my question to you on the second day, my child? Your question to me? It was about Mr. Giant, wasn't it? Do you want to know him? Yes. A sincere heart is the most important thing when getting along with the others. You should always show them your true feelings. A sincere heart. Of course, you're not wrong to doubt him. The man hides many things from you. After all, in the arrogant eyes of humans, they're the highest above all creatures. Waiting patiently is an option. What you can also choose when you can also choose to rebel, to surrender, or to find the answer on my own. That is also something worth doing. It's time to make up my mind. Thank you, Mr. Knight, for always kindly giving me advice. I've been curious about my something for Mr. Giant as well. Maybe it's like in my dream. I'm actually hoping to befriend humans. But anyway, I found it was not that simple after meeting Mr. Giant. He is always busy, loud, and his actions are rude. More importantly, I can't even communicate with him normally. But he brings me delicious food, worries about my health, and talks to me. I want to know him. I want to know why he keeps me, and what happened between him and fairies. So I decide to find the answers to all the questions by myself. I see. So after all the talking, you won't die if you shut up. Of course, I appreciated the interesting stories Mr. Wizard and my lord told me, sorry. You're definitely one of those pushovers that salespeople like the most. No, I'm not. Never mind. I'll forget about helping you escape. So do whatever you want. However, don't say I didn't warn you when you are filled with regret. Sure. Different spots we can check out now. Good. Can I see Mr. Snake if I climb from here? Oh, we're too short for that. My arms are too short. No, no, no. Not just your arms. You are too short. How dare you say that? By the way, this white melty thing is called a candle, right? Mr. Giant said it could be lit. How to do that? I'll talk to Mr. Giant later. Okay. The rope looks like a snake. Does Mr. Giant know about the snake statue? Could be. Just wondering if there's any multiple things that we need to interact with for some dialogue changes. That's that. Or maybe these events shouldn't be here and some of them should disappear after interacting it for the first time. Whew. Go inside, yes. Can I find some clues here? Mr. Snake said that he may recall something if I bring a related item. chalkboard. Wait. There should have been 26 on there already. Because that was yesterday when we did that exact day. Maybe there's a little error going on. Mr. Giant said the sun was actually a fake one. The giants are really amazing. Fake sun. A bottle cap. It seems to have been here for a long time. Though it's heavy, I think I can carry it to Mr. Snake. Think twice. We'll take the bottle cap with us. Decided I'll take it. Hey yo, hey yo. Then push it down. Oh, ah! Oops.